Welcome back to the Bearded Console Gamer, and today I'll be taking you through all of the highlights from yesterday's Nintendo Indie World presentation. That's right, Nintendo's ancient and powerful PR team have awoken from their great slumber and provided fans with info on some of the smaller games that'll be coming to the Switch later this year and in 2021. Assuming that we all survive that long. The planet is literally and metaphorically a flaming garbage truck right now. Just a quick reminder, this is a new channel, so if you could find your way to liking and subscribing, it would mean a lot going forward. At the beginning of the presentation, we were treated to an all too familiar warning that the COVID-19 virus could affect game development and, subsequently, release dates. Nintendo then slapped that filthy virus right in its face by dropping a bunch of same-day release titles, because you can't affect what's already out, COVID. The first title to land in the hedonistic hamper of out-now games is Spiritfarer from developer Thunder Lotus. Spiritfarer is, in essence, a game that is rooted in death and learning to say goodbye. You play as Stella, whose job it is to find the souls of the deceased and ferry them to the afterlife. The finding part will see you platform through and explore gorgeous varied scenery, but the emotional punch of the adventure is sure to take place at sea. Stella and you must do everything in your power to care for the spirits on your ship and make their final journey as comfortable as possible. Along the way, you'll converse with the passengers and carry out tasks for them, which, helped along by the beautifully drawn art style, will inevitably forge an emotional connection. A connection that's designed to make the inevitable end of the journey all the more difficult and feelsy. In terms of gameplay, Spiritfarer has been described as a cozy management game that lets players cook, craft, farm, fish, and harvest materials that can then be used to make your guest stay more memorable. These resources can be used to build new facilities, upgrade your boat, grow harvests, and more. The art style of this game absolutely has me, and the Switch is the perfect platform for players to experience it on. That said, if you don't want to spend the money and you do have an Xbox Game Pass subscription, it's worth noting that Spiritfarer is free to play there too. Cutesy RPG Takeshi and Hiroshi also launched yesterday and asks you, as the titular game designer Takeshi, to create a digital adventure for your sick brother, the also titular Hiroshi. You choose what enemies Hiroshi faces, and you basically have to make it challenging enough for the little brat to enjoy the game while making sure that he doesn't lose, for this will make him sad. It explores family bonds and the love of gaming, and I like the concept of building a game within a game. There's also some puppet-like animation there, and looks generally charming for the low price of $8.09. Next up, and also out today, is action-adventure title Raji, an Ancient Epic, which is set at the outset of a war between the Hindu and Balinese gods of India and an army of demons. The story is centered around Raji's quest to rescue her brother Golu from evil hordes of demons and put a stop to the divine war. The combat shown in the trailer looks pretty fluid, and we can also see some puzzling and platforming sections thrown in there too along the way. This feels like it'll be a good get if you enjoy learning about potentially unfamiliar cultures and religions while smacking bad guys around the face with mythical weapons. I mean, it definitely has my attention. How often do you get a game set in ancient India that lets you battle the demon lord Mahabalasura? Rarely, I would say. Evergate, a labour of love 4 years in the making, also made a surprise appearance on the Nintendo eShop yesterday. Evergate is a 2D puzzle platform that has you guide a childlike spirit called Key through the underworld. I also wrote down in my notes that it gives me, and I quote, wicked strong Ori vibes. Arguably some of the best vibes. Other games surprise dropped on the eStore yesterday include the charmingly animated A Short Hike, which judging from the overwhelmingly positive reviews on Steam and Metacritic, looks like it's definitely going to be worth the $7.20 price tag, and the mind-bending puzzle game Manifold Garden. I love environmental puzzle games that mess with gravity and player perspective using impossible architecture, and Manifold Garden has won multiple awards for being extremely good at doing just that. It's like Monument Valley on acid, so definitely pick it up if you're a puzzle fan or if you loved it on another platform and want to take it on the move. It feels like a perfect commuter game. So that's it for the games that dropped during the presentation, but good things come to those who wait. And one of the goodest things that Nintendo told us during the not full direct is that the ocean exploration game Subnautica is finally coming to the Switch. I've been waiting for this one for so long. It's one of those titles that feels like it just belongs on the platform. For those of you that haven't experienced it yet, Subnautica puts you in the flippers of a space explorer who's crashed on an ocean world, and it's your job to survive and explore the depths in order to find the cause of the crash and unravel the secrets of other phenomenon, all the while keeping an eye on oxygen levels and avoiding being booped to death by alien sharks. To that end, you'll be collecting resources to craft better gear, bases, and eventually a huge submarine with which to plumb the deepest depths. Both Subnautica and the sequel Below Zero are set to launch early next year, and just here's hoping it gets a good port. Dungeon crawler Torchlight III was also announced and will be coming to the Nintendo Switch this autumn, and well, PlayStation likes to play hardball with console exclusive content like the Spider-Man game from the Marvel's Avengers thing. But they've got nothing on Nintendo. Because Nintendo has an exclusive red fairy pet that only Torchlight fans on Twitch can have. So yeah, have that, PlayStation. On a side note, another one of the games coming to the Switch revolves around cheating at cards in an 18th century French aristocratic society. Now when I saw this, I thought, I bet you this is published by Devolver Digital. And lo and behold, it is published by Devolver Digital. Because who else would go, yeah, great idea. Let's run with this, let's make a game of it. Judging by the success of Fall Guys, that could be a Game of the Year contender. Another side note, Nintendo tried to sneak this into the presentation right at the last moment, and it just looks cursed. These are cursed animations. The game's called Struggling, by the way, and it's cursed. Next up, we have Greek mythology-inspired dungeon crawler Hades from Supergiant Games. In this roguelike, you ally with characters from the colourful pantheon of Olympian gods as you attempt to escape the underworld. The hook being, every time you die, you return to hell. It promises the fast-paced action of Bastion and the storytelling of Pyre, and as someone who studied ancient history very badly at university, it is also sure to upset me in many strange ways. On the bright side, it'll be out later this year and also boasts cross-save compatibility with PC, so you can port your save over if you don't fancy starting new. Finally, Nintendo's one more thing was the announcement that the world-beating Untitled Goose Game will be getting a free co-op update on September 23rd. It's also worth noting that there's currently an Indies sale on the Nintendo eShop, which includes some of the newly announced surprise releases. And that's all of the highlights from the Indie World presentation. Let me know what you thought in the comments, and please remember to like and subscribe if you enjoyed the video, and stay tuned for more gaming news, reactions, and roundups.